Number 9, to instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. Number 10, to not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy name and to maintain material attachment even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to achieve the desired success, Krishna Prema. Once again, I thank everyone for joining Bhakti Sanga Japa conference call today. Let us move to our next session, which is Srimad Bhagavatam. May I know who all have joined this morning?
हरे कृष्णा सुस्मिता माता जी, दंडवत प्रणाम। शिला प्रभुपाद की जय, गुरु महाराज की जय। प्रीतिदासी फ्रॉम शार्लोट। हरे कृष्णा।
Hare Krishna, Priti Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call every day and giving your sweet assistance to us. Welcome to the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandut Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Arvind Das from Chicago. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Arvind Das Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for joining the call every day and welcome to the call, Prabhu. Thank you for your association. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shashmita Mataji, my humble obeisances to you and all assembled devotees, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. This is Parampavani Shama Devi Dasi from Baltimore, Maryland. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Parampavani Syama Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for all your services. Thank you so much for joining the call. Welcome to the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्णा सुष्मिता माता जी, प्लीज एक्सेप्ट माय humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Shama Gauri Devidasi from Charlotte.
Hare Krishna, Shama Gauri Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Welcome to the call. All glories to all your services. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shushmita Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Vinita Gandharvika Devidasi from College Station, Texas.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandhavika Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for all your services. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Welcome to the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Susmita Mataji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharajis. My humble obeisances to you and all the devotees. This is Krishna Kumari Devidasi from Raleigh. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Kumari Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call every day and giving your sweet association to us. Welcome to the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Is there anyone else who would like to introduce themselves?
Okay. Shall I start recording, Mataji? Nobody is announcing.
Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Welcome to Bhakti Sanga Japa conference call today. Today we are so fortunate to have His Grace Akincana Krishna Prabhuji to enlighten us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th Canto, 10th chapter, verse number 25 to 26. Before I hand over the call to Prabhuji, I would like to hand over the call to Ayan Prabhuji for a brief introduction of Prabhuji. Ayan Prabhu, over to you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Dandat Pranam. I offer my obeisances to all assembled devotees, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Here is a very brief introduction for our dear speaker, His Grace Akincana Krishna Das. Prabhuji hails from Mumbai and he is dedicated to full-time monastic services, Brahmacharya, in ISKCON from the year 1999. He worked in the industry for 2 years in Blue Star Limited and PC Soft PBT Ltd after completing his graduation in Electronics and Telecom Engineering and post-graduation in Business Management. Later, after joining ISKCON, he served as value educator in schools, Gita for college youth, and he also gives seminars for corporate young professionals on stress and time management. Prabhuji gives Gita principles for a satisfying life and motivational seminars for youth in ISKCON Chowpatis, Prerana Youth Festival. Prabhuji is a regular Srimad Bhagavatam speaker in ISKCON Chowpati. He has been giving spiritual discourses for devotee communities in Panvel, Kharghar, and Sivur, South Mumbai. He also organizes 2-month spiritual trips and talks for British sabbatical youth from the Bhakti Vedanta manor every year. Here goes the brief introduction for Prabhu. Over to you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much for the nice introduction. Hare Krishna. Mataji, Prabhuji has joined.
No, Mataji, not yet. I think I will just pause the recording here.
Okay, Mataji, then we can chant. Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shivasadi, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Prabhuji has joined. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, I saw giving him pause.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for giving your valuable time and association to us this morning and enlightening us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam. Now I will hand over the call to you, Prabhu. Please take over the call. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. All right. So you want to share the...
Yes, Prabhuji, I can.
I will just read out the verses. I can just... if you want, I can share the screen. Should I share the screen or will you share the screen?
Yes, Prabhu, if you can share, it is good, Prabhuji.
So somebody has already shared the screen.
Yeah, if you want me to share, I can share, Prabhu.
I can share it then. All right. I have no problem.
Okay. Sure, Prabhuji. Whatever is convenient.
Okay. Prasad sumukham drishtva brahma naraharim harim stutva vagabhi pavitrabhi praha devadibhir vritah. Prasad sumukham, whose face was bright because the Supreme Lord was pleased. Drishtva, seeing this situation, Brahma, Lord Brahma, Naraharim, unto Lord Nrsimhadev, Harim, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Stutva, offering prayers, Vagvihi, by transcendental words, Pavitravihi, without any material contamination, Praha, addressed the Lord, Deva Adivihi, by Lord demigods, by other demigods, Vritaha, surrounded. Translation: Lord Brahma, surrounded by the other demigods, was bright-faced because the Lord was pleased. Thus he offered prayers to the Lord with transcendental words. Text 26. Shri Brahma Vacha Deva Deva Khiladhyaksha Bhuta Bhavana Purvaja Dishtya Te Nihatah Papo Loka Santapano Swaraha. Shri Brahma Vacha, Lord Brahma said, Deva Deva, O my Lord, Lord of all the demigods, Akhila Adhyaksha, owner of the whole universe, Bhuta Bhavana, O cause of all living entities, Purvaja, O original personality of Godhead, Dishtya, by your example, or because of our good fortune, Te, by you, Nihataha, killed, Papaha, most sinful, Loka Santapanaha, giving trouble to the entire universe, Asuraha, the demon Hiranyakashipu. Lord Brahma said, O Supreme Lord of all Lords, proprietor of the entire universe, O benedictor of all living entities, O original person, Adi Purusha, because of our good fortune, you have now killed this sinful demon who was giving trouble to the entire universe. Purport. The word Purvaj is described in Bhagavad Gita 10.8. Aham sarvasya prabhavo mattas sarvam pravartate. All the demigods, including Lord Brahma, are manifested from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, the original person, the cause of all causes, is Govinda, the Adi Purusham. Hare Krishna. So, the chapter or the section of Prahlad and Narsingadev is indeed one of the very famous pastimes of Srimad Bhagavatam. In fact, in our ISKCON temples, we sing Narsingha prayers daily, morning, afternoon, evening. Every devotee, more or less, before beginning their travels, will chant the Narsingha prayers. Namaste Narsimhaya. So many Narsingha Yagyas are performed every year. Recently for Bhadra Purnima, Narsingha Yagya was performed in our temple. So many people sponsored and sat for that Yagya. So definitely Narsingadev, I would say, is one of the very favorite incarnations of Lord Sri Krishna. And there are a lot of teachings in this section. Of course, we know, and since I have already spoken on this pastime before, because it's a very long Leelas, there's a long description of Prahlad's character and his biography. Narsingha's appearance is not as long as the description of Prahlad Maharaj's life. That's because the Lord wants us to learn about how a devotee behaves. What are the symptoms of a devotee? Narsingadev appears and that's it. He kills Hiranyakashipu and that's it. More or less, that's the end. It's not a lot about what Leelas Narsingadev did after he appears. That is not there in Bhagavatam so much. But definitely the Lord wants, and Shukdev Goswami wants all of us to know and learn about how we should perform devotional service. With what attitude we should perform devotion. So therefore, the first important teaching that the Lord gives in this section was that the Lord is not partial. And we know that that's how this section began. When Yudhishthir Maharaj saw, and in fact, all the kings present in the assembly of the on the occasion of the coronation ceremony of Yudhishthir, Rajasuya Yagya, when Shishupal was beheaded by Lord Krishna's Sudarshan Chakra, and everybody witnessed that his soul emerged from his body and entered into the body of Lord Krishna. And they were stunned and surprised that how come such a sinful demon who constantly took pleasure in blaspheming Lord Krishna could have attained mukti. Entering into the body of Lord Krishna was a big reward actually. And being surprised that how can such sinful people like Shishupal can attain such an exalted position of mukti. And then in order to pacify him, Narada told that this Shishupal is none other than the associate of Lord Vishnu in the spiritual world. And he has completed his curse tenure of having taken 3 births. The first birth was of Shishupal and Hiranyakashipu. The second birth that he took was of Ravana and Dantavakra. And the third birth was of Shishupal, Ravan and Kumbhakarna, and the third birth was of Shishupal and Dantavakra. So the Jai Vijay, who were the 2 gatekeepers, Dwarpal of Lord Vishnu, because they were cursed by the 4 Kumaras, because they were angry that they were not allowed inside Vaikuntha. And because of that, they had to take birth. And nevertheless, the Lord assured them that when you take birth as demons, I will also take birth in this world and deliver you, and every time. Because none other could touch them, because they were associates of Lord Vishnu, and none other could deal with them. They were so powerful. And because they had completed, it was their 3rd birth, and now they were free, and therefore the Lord killed him. And even though he was acting like a demon, but he was actually serving the Lord by being demons and giving the Lord an opportunity to fight. Because the Lord also had that desire to fight, just as any one of us may have that desire, and we may play with our siblings, or sometimes when children play with their fathers by, wrestling with them. And so the Lord also likes to do that. And sensing that Jai and Vijay wanted to serve in that capacity, and then sensing that desire in the minds of Jai and Vijay, the Lord facilitated them to enter into this material world via the curse of the 4 Kumaras. And then, so therefore, you see that a devotee doesn't really care where he is, what he is, whether he's a god or a demon, doesn't matter, as long as he gets to serve the Lord. It's such a high exalted position that general people cannot conceive. How is that possible? But a devotee can do anything. He can make a fool of himself. He can go through all kinds of sufferings in order to give pleasure and serve the Lord. Because his only focus, his only goal is to please the Lord. He has no personal considerations whatsoever. So that's one of the teachings that we can get in this Leela, that the Lord is not partial, not at all. He's equal to all. And we are not able to see it. Yudhishthir Maharaj couldn't find out. He's Dharmaraj, but even he couldn't figure out that what the Lord was doing was right, actually. He couldn't figure out that the Lord was being neutral. Because generally people, they accuse the Lord of being partial. Oh, there is injustice in this world. Why isn't the Lord appearing and incarnating? And see, the times have become so bad, and so many things are happening in this world. But what people don't know is that everyone is reaping the results of their own karma. And there is the law of karma, which is prevalent in society, giving the rewards for every action. There's perfect justice in this world. The Lord is neutral. Everyone suffers and enjoys according to their karma. And Yudhishthir Maharaj, being so knowledgeable, being Yamaraj himself, he's Dharmaraj, actually. He's another Ansha of Yamaraj, who's all-knowing. He couldn't figure it out. So therefore, this chapter is very important for all of us to get that message, that we suffer and enjoy only because of our own actions. And unless and until we are cleared of that misunderstanding, we cannot get mukti. Because being in doubt and or having a wrong understanding is also part of being in illusion and being in Maya. And that's the reason why Lord Shri Krishna has given us this knowledge of the Gita and Bhagavatam. And he says in the Gita, Janma karma chave me divyam evam yo veti tatvatah. Tatvatah means that it's not simply to know me, but to know me perfectly. Tatvatah means to know it exactly. Because a wrong understanding, which is agyan, will not give us liberation. And one of the common misunderstandings that people have in their minds is that they are suffering because they are victims. They are victims of abuse, and and they put the blame on anyone and everyone, including God, except themselves. And this being one of the major obstacles on the path of every living being in this world, including sadhakas and including devotees, they cannot and will not make advancement. So that's one very important teaching. We have to simply, pray to the Lord and thank Him that whatever is happening is my karma, and by your grace, you have reduced, you have given me a token punishment for what I actually deserved. And in that way, we, in our humble state of mind, when we approach the Lord, then we become recipients of His mercy. Otherwise, if we are cursing the Lord, or we are cursing devotees and cursing any living entity who is actually none other than the Lord only, because every living being and every object and everything in this universe is a body of the Lord. It is the tanu of the Lord. Just as the Lord says now in that verse, yo yo yam yam tanum bhaktah. My body, tanu. You might have heard of the word tanuja. It's a girl's name, Tanuja. Tanuja means one who's born from the body, from the tanu. So yo yo yam yam tanu. Everything, including the gods, are my body. Every living being is mamai amsho. What is the meaning of amsho? My body. Like a hand is a part of the body. It's an ansha of the body. So therefore, one must give up all kinds of resentment towards every living entity, because ultimately they all constitute the Lord only. So much so that we shouldn't even kick any object out of frustration. People throw their phones or break televisions, and we do that. All of us are, and we become jealous of others' progress, and all these are actually the results of that agyan in our minds. So another important teaching in this chapter is that perfection was attained by Prahlad, who is none other than a small boy of 5 years old. As Krishna says that bhakti is very easy to perform. Susukham kartum avyayam. Bhagavad Gita. Here we can see that bhakti was perfected. The art of bhakti was perfected by Prahlad, who was simply 5 years old. Simply 5 years old. Even a child can perform. As Prabhupada used to say, even a child. I mean, look at 5-year-old children. How young they are. What do they understand? What do they know? Nothing. I mean, at 5 years old, a 5-year-old child has just begun school, is it not? I mean, at how many years is a child sent to school? 5, I guess. No, maybe 3 years, I think. 3 or 4, 5. Whatever it is. I mean, he hardly knows anything. But then that actually is an advantage, because when you don't know, that serves as an advantage. Because all those worldly impressions of sense gratification serves only to cloud your true intelligence. And contaminates our mind. All the experiences of sense gratification in this world serves only to contaminate the mind and making it very difficult for us to hold the Lord's memory. We're so much distracted by all these, mic temptations of money, fame, and all those things are so strong. So therefore, children are very much are suitable candidates for bhakti because their minds are so pure. They have no impressions of sense gratification, at least in that life. At least in that life. And therefore, they can learn very quickly. And that's why we see that children only are sent to school. And major portion of the learning takes place when they are children, when we are all children. Why? Because at that time, there are no distractions. Children are not tormented by thoughts of sex and things like that also. That's one of the reasons. They are natural brahmacharis. They don't have to work for practice. They don't have to practice brahmacharya. They're just natural brahmacharis because they don't know the difference between a boy and a girl. And that's why they can learn so much. And that's why Prahlad Maharaj in his teachings is saying, Kaumaram acharit pragyo dharman bhagavataniha durlabham manusham janma tadapi adruvamarthadam. Kaumaram acharit pragyo, 5 years of age, you should learn principles of bhakti. And he has also taught us what are the principles of bhakti. Shravanam kirtanam Vishnu smaranam padasevanam archanam vandanam dasyam sakyam atmanivedanam iti pumsarpita Vishnu bhaktischennava lakshana kriyeta bhagavatyada tadmanye dhitamuttamam. So you see so many teachings that Prahlad has given, and this whole pastime of Narsingadev and Prahlad. Such an important verse. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. So all these beautiful teachings, the Navavida Bhakti that we are practicing, we have learned from Prahlad. He has taught us. And when his father Hiranyakashipu was killed, and now we see that the gods are offering prayers. Lord Narsingadev is asking Prahlad, how can I bless you? What do you want? What blessing can I give? What benediction can I deliver? And Prahlad Maharaj says, please don't tempt me with these material desires. Please don't try to tempt me. And the Lord says, am I tempting you? Do I tempt my devotees? And Prahlad Maharaj says that what are the demerits of serving with material desires? When a person, and especially a devotee, when he comes to the path of bhakti, and maybe initially he's serving without expectations, but eventually, whenever, at a certain point of time, when he develops desires, and if he starts thinking that I have served for so many years, and what have I got in return, he messes up everything. And as we read already in this chapter only, Prahlad Maharaj says that his soul is weakened. his senses become weak. Truthfulness is destroyed. Austerity, the principle of austerity is destroyed. He becomes cruel. He loses all sense of cleanliness. He falls down from religiosity. Basically, he becomes dull and he becomes devoid of all enthusiasm. And we can see that at any point of time in our devotional careers, if we become fruitive, we become harsh, we become cruel with devotees. And as a result, we are not happy. We cannot be at peace. And whenever we are not at peace, we should know we have become fruitive, which means that now we have started expecting something, maybe puja or labh or pratishtha. We have become jealous of devotees. He has become more famous, or he has more knowledge than me, or he's, whatever. And at any point of time, if that happens, then we lose it. And therefore, Prahlad Maharaj says that a devotee can be happy only when he is serving without any expectations. And material things actually derail us. Expectations for material gain derails us from that path. Therefore, he says, I don't want it. I am not a businessman. I'm not a businessman. I've worked so that I may get something from you. Nasa bhritya, he says, such a vanik. I am not a vanik, not a businessman. And truly, if you see that when you say there is an employee who's working for a master, at best he will only be paid his salary. The relationship between an employee and the employee and the employer, is that of the salary. That's all. He's rendering service and he's giving him salary. So all that an employee can expect is a salary. You can't get more than that. But you see, in a family members serve each other without any expectations. So basically, essentially, all that the family has belongs to each and every member of the family. So when you serve the Lord without any expectation, you become a family member of the Lord. When you serve out of love. So in fact, you possess everything that the Lord possesses. You gain the opulence of the Lord. You become as good as the Lord. But when you serve with expectation, you become like a employee, and you can only expect that much, the result of your karma. And therefore, if you want to gain everything, you have to give up everything. You want to gain something, you have to give up something. थोड़ा पाने के लिए थोड़ा कुछ खोना पड़ता है, पर सब कुछ पाने के लिए सब कुछ खोना पड़ता है. You want to gain a little bit, you have to give up a little bit. But if you want to gain the world, you have to give up the world. And that's what Prahlad Maharaj did. And even though Prahlad did not expect it, but the Lord also being very generous and being grateful. Even the Lord is grateful. It's not that, okay, he says, you don't want anything? All right, fine. Be without anything. And he didn't put him on the street. No, the Lord awarded him rulership of the universe till the end of Manvantara. No, be in all the opulences. He had everything what anyone could desire today in this world, in this universe. He was the king of the universe. So the Lord is also very merciful, and he awarded him. Even though he didn't want. Prahlad Maharaj is saying that why are you punishing me? For all this time I'll have to stay in this world, deprived of your association. Again, because Prahlad Maharaj is setting an example. He's setting an example actually. He's asking this question for all of us so that we can understand that how the experience of Vaikuntha is not physical. It's not that you be in a physical place. It's about being in the right consciousness. He wanted to prove that point. And therefore, he's telling Lord Nrsimhadev in this very same chapter that, are you punishing me by keeping me in this world for that long a period? And Lord Narayan tells him, Lord Nrsimhadev tells him that, no. As long as you live in this world and you are following my instructions, you are remembering me and you're chanting my glories, you are as good as being with me. So from the own mouth of the Lord, Prahlad Maharaj has delivered these important messages that being with the Lord means to follow his instructions, remember him, chant his glories. That is the way we can make this world into Vaikuntha. You don't have to die to go to Vaikuntha. You can experience Vaikuntha while you are living. Goes to show that a devotee doesn't care where he lives. Narayana Parayana Nakutaschana Vibhyati Swarga Pavarga Narkeshu Apitulyartha Darshanam. For a devotee, he goes to hell, he goes to heaven, it doesn't matter. Swarga Apavarga Narkeshu. He can go to heaven also. He can be liberated also if he wishes, if the Lord wishes. Or he can even go to hell as long as there is service to the Lord. And that's how we find that there are devotees in this universe like Vidur, like Yudhishthir, like the Pandavas, like Prahlad himself, and Narada, who are constantly moving around in this universe for the sake of the conditioned souls. Even Brahma, as we've read in the second chapter, even in our temple, we are discussing that Brahma, he's a pure devotee, and for 311 trillion years, he is bound to live in this universe, making arrangements for all the living entities to engage in karma and to realize that it is not the way, not the path, and then attain liberation through bhakti, and then go back home, back to Vaikuntha. But while all these millions and billions of souls, they perfect their lives and go back, but Brahma will remain in this world, destined to live in this world, in this universe for 311 trillion 40 billion years. Isn't that a punishment? And that is the greatest tapasya which these devotees do. And in fact, the first word that Brahma heard was tapa, tapa. When he was born on the lotus flower, the first words he heard was tapa. And this is the greatest tapasya. There cannot be a greater tapasya than this. So Prahlad Maharaj is also in that same mood because he prayed that my greatest suffering is to see the people in this world suffering the pangs of material existence. That is my greatest suffering, to see others suffering. Para dukkha dukkhi, para sukha sukhi. To see others in material existence was giving him the greatest suffering. So the Lord said, all right, so be it. You be the preacher. Set an example. And when that question arose, and the Lord asked Prahlad that, is it so that I tempt my devotees? So Prahlad Maharaj says, no, actually, I am a pure devotee. I have been sent from the spiritual world into this universe by you in order to set the example, the conduct, the precept for a devotee, for common people to learn and follow. Vritya Lakshana Jigyasur Bhakta Kameshwa Chodayat. That, The seed of material existence is the desire to enjoy. Bhavan samsara bijeshu hridaya granthishu Prabhu. Because the seed of material existence is the desire to enjoy this material world, in order to set the proper precept and example, you have sent me into this world so that the common man may learn how to be a devotee. That is the reason why you have sent me here. Prahlad Maharaj is telling the Lord. So therefore you are offering me these material things, but I don't want it. I have no desire. And therefore Prahlad Maharaj is somebody sent me a WhatsApp message where it is very nicely said that सेवा करनी है तो घड़ी मत देखो, सेवा करनी है तो घड़ी मत देखो, कथा करनी है तो जगह मत देखो, प्रसाद चखना है तो स्वाद मत देखो, भक्ति करनी है तो स्वार्थ मत देखो, दान करना है तो खर्चा मत देखो, समर्पण करना है तो सुविधा मत देखो. So that is the mood in which we should serve without expectation, and with complete assurance that the Lord will take care of us. And we have seen here that the Lord does provide. He is not ungrateful.
Yes.
The
Hare Krishna.
person,
Sorry to interrupt, but can you translate that?
translate what?
The
What I just
you
said.
said in Hindi.
Okay, सेवा करनी है तो घड़ी मत देखो. If you want to serve, don't look at your watch. Any time of the day, if you are called on to serve, you should serve. सेवा करनी है तो घड़ी मत देखो. कथा करनी है तो जगह मत देखो. If you want to discuss Krishna Katha, Bhagavat and Gita, then don't look at the place. As we know that Lord Shri Krishna, he spoke the Bhagavad Gita on the battlefield. He did a satsang on the battlefield. प्रसाद खाना है तो स्वाद मत देखो. If you want to honor prasad, don't look at the taste. And bhakti करनी है तो स्वार्थ मत देखो. If you are performing devotional service, don't look for personal gain. दान करना है तो खर्चा मत देखो. If you want to give charity, don't look at your expenses. Oh, I've incurred such an expense. Don't put it in the expense category. Income and expense, yes. So don't put it in expense. And समर्पण करनी है तो सुविधा मत देखो. If you want to surrender to the Lord, then don't look for conveniences. It may not be convenient, but you have to surrender. So it is said. So here all these examples have been set by Prahlad Maharaj for all of us to learn. And it's a wonderful, wonderful Leela. So much can be spoken and you've already read. So if anybody has any questions or any thing to say, then we can.
Hare Krishna
take.
Prabhuji. Thank you so much for the wonderful, wonderful class, Prabhu. Thank you
Hare
so
Krishna.
much. Dear devotees, if you have any realization or any questions, please feel free to unmute yourself and please go ahead. Thank you. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I don't see any hand raised, Prabhu.
Okay.
Okay, Prabhu. So,
One
Japa.
thing which I wanted to share again, here it is said, where Prahlad Maharaj says, Yadi dasyasi me kaman varam swam varadharshava kamanam hridya samroham bhavatasturne varam. So he says that if you really want to give me a blessing and a benediction, Yadi dasyasi me kaman varam swam varadharshava, because you are known as Vardaraj, the Lord of benediction, then kamanam hridya samroham, then destroy the desires, material desires within my heart. Bhavatastu vrinevara. That is what he asked. And he also asked for forgiveness for his father. Forgive my father. He has abused me, who am your servant. And he has caused so much of problems for the gods. Please forgive him. And the Lord said, what to speak of your father? 21 generations have been liberated. So he did ask. The Lord urged him to ask something for the Lord's pleasure. And then what he asked was not so much for himself, but for his father. That goes to show another quality of forgiveness, that there could be people who have infringed upon our rights and could have been harsh to us, but we should learn to forgive. A devotee, one quality that he does possess, is forgiveness. Like Jesus Christ, he prayed, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. So all these saintly people, they have this sterling quality of forgiveness. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
So,
Prabhu.
there
are three hand raises. Yes, Prabhu, there are 3 hand raises.
Okay.
Balram Prasad Prabhu, would you like to go ahead? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Tanvat Pranam, Guru Srila Prabhupada. Prabhuji,
Hare
thank you for so much insight on this class, especially the subject matter. I was thinking about kind of a reflection or maybe a question also. Lord Chaitanya, when he sits with Gadadhara Pandit and devotees, especially he wants to read only Prahlad Maharaj story, Bhagavatam, and then in the Bhagavatam, Prahlad Maharaj and also our Dhruva Maharaj. Why was he really always looking at these two stories? I was wondering why, but maybe you can give some reflections and answers on this. That was a question from my side. I was thinking, even though Lord gives everything, he says no. That means he's not interested in any material benefits. He wants only Krishna. Is this exactly what it is, and why Lord Chaitanya liked it? That was my kind of a reflection question, Prabhu. Please go ahead.
Hari Ananta, Hari Katha Ananta. They said that the Lord is infinite and so is his Leelas. Every verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam is unlimited, actually. And Acharyas have spoken on one verse of Srimad Bhagavatam for 6 months. So, Lakshmi is asking Lord Vishnu that how is it that you say that all the information of the universe and beyond is there within the Bhagavad Gita, in Padma Puran, Gita Mahatmya. So then Narayan says that's only because Bhagavad Gita is me. I am the Bhagavad Gita. I am not different. Just as Srimad Bhagavatam is also Lord Krishna avatar. Tameva devam karuna avataram samsara saram bhujagendra. No, what is that verse? Tameva Devam Karunavataram. That the Bhagavad is Karuna avatar. So Bhagavad Gita is also avatar of Vishnu. So every verse is infinite. So when we read, we may just read and get certain understanding, but when the Lord reads it and the great Mahatmas read it, they can get unlimited explanations, realizations from each and every verse of the Gita, each and every pada of the Gita and the Bhagavatam. So therefore they are getting newer and newer realizations. Vayam tuna vitripyama uttama shloka vikrame tachranvatah rasagyanam swadu swadu pade pade. As it is explained that Vayam tuna vitripyama, and I am not satisfied by hearing. I want to hear more and more and more. And every time I'm hearing, I'm learning more and more higher and higher realizations and rasa. The experience is new. Just as when you meet with people whom you love, every time you meet, you grow fonder, you become more attached. Even though the person is the same, but the feelings are fresh. So that is one of the reasons. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally, he took one verse of Atmaram and he delivered an exposition with 64 different meanings of each and every word. So that makes it how many? How many different combinations? So with each and every prayer that Prahlad makes to Lord Narasimhadev itself can give you unlimited meanings. And so these great minds, they can relish that much. Now we human beings can only understand according to our capacity. So the Leelas are very deep, and the interpretations, the aspects in which you can look at the Leelas are multi-dimensional. So that's one of the things. We eat chapati daily, is it not? I mean, still we are not bored. We eat rice, dal, and the same thing is daily, but every time we eat, we are getting fresh feeling and we are getting nourished and we enjoy it. Do we say, it's same dal, chapati, rice we are eating daily? Yeah, but then you may take a switch, you may eat sandwiches, you may eat pizzas, but then ultimately you have to come back to dal, rice, and sabji. South Indian, if he goes anywhere in the world, he'll eat idli, dosa, he'll eat rice and sambar only. He may little bit eat here and there, something little bit, but then finally he'll come back to that, what he likes. A Gujarati or a Punjabi will eat paratha and he'll eat chapati. So we are not bored of something which is so material. Then how can anyone... of course, I know that we can never be bored. It's not about being bored, but I'm just saying that we get attached. And similarly, devotees are attached to discussing the same Leela. So if it is the same, also you enjoy it. And if it is not the same, also you'll enjoy it. That way. Because in material life, the same thing means boring. But in spiritual life, the same thing means ecstasy. When you have the desire to enjoy, the same thing makes it boring. But when you have the desire to serve, the same thing becomes interesting. How that happens, we'll only understand when we will become pure. That way.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for asking that question, and thank you, Prabhuji, for explaining it so nicely. Hare Krishna, Pran Govind, Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. Please go ahead and ask a question, Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
It is Praveen Govind, Prabhu.
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
Praveen Govind. Sorry.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Praveen Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Please go ahead.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam. Jai Shri Prabhupada. So, Prabhu, in your lecture, you are mentioning about that whatever happens to us is because of our karma. So I was wondering if there is any other factor that affects us, because when I see Hitler, he killed so many Jews, right, in the concentration camps, and there were young kids and women. And so, do I understand that none of them were pious and they all had to suffer their karma, maybe of this life or past life? Or is
We
there
don't
any
know.
other factor that affects what happens
We
to
don't
a
know.
jiva?
We don't know. We can't say, because there has been no revelation in any Puranas as to what was the reason why these children suffered and they were killed and they were tormented and tortured. So therefore, we cannot say. But the general principles are there in the Bhagavatam, and we can speak about what has already been spoken. So the general principle is, yes, everyone suffers according to their karmas. So it's very difficult to say why they suffered. Obviously, it doesn't make sense to say that that they were pious and the Lord has arranged for it. Just to set an example that if you do good, you'll get good. If you do bad, you'll get bad. So who are we to say that? So yeah, general principle is past life. We have done things in the past life, and you see, the Western world is really sinful. I mean, there is so much of cow killing. I mean, the way the animals are cooked, in Japan, you see, I mean, it's not against anyone, but I mean, they eat live, things, even that which has not been. I've heard that they eat anything and everything. Snakes, crabs, snails, and I don't know what. And they cook it while they're living, there's lobsters and boiling water, they'll take it inside. And like somebody was saying, many years ago, I heard about one real incident which took place, that a man who was running a restaurant, a non-vegetarian restaurant, where one of the items that he was selling was lobsters or something like that. Okay, where they show you the lobster, living fish and lobsters or whatever, and then you have to go and choose what you want. And then they will take it out of that and they will put it in boiling water and they'll cook it and they'll serve it to you. So one day that man, when he was swimming in a nearby lake, and there was some fire in some forest. So the government, they were trying to put out the fire, and the helicopter came with a hose to take the water from the lake to dump it on the forest fire. And in that process, this man who was swimming in the lake got sucked in, and he was the owner of that restaurant, and he was thrown into the fire, and he got cooked exactly the way he was cooking the fish and the lobsters in his restaurant. So therefore they say, avashyam anubhoktavyam kritam karma shubhashubham na bhoktum kshiyate karma kalpakoti shaterapi. Everybody definitely will have to experience avashyam anubhoktavyam kritam karma shubhashubham. Whatever we have done, whether shubha or ashubha, we will have to experience the reactions for it. But but Krishna says that by bhakti we can become free. Pavitram idam uttamam pratyakshavagam dharmyam susukham kartum avyayam. In that verse in the Gita, Pavitram. Why is the bhakti process known as Pavitram? Because it is purifying. Pavitra means to be pure or to purify. Pavitram idam uttamam means that it purifies. How do you purify? So it is said, aprarabdam phalam papam kutam bijam phalonmukham kraminaiva praliyante vishnur bhakti ratatmanam. That the different forms of karma or karma in its different stages which means aprarabdha, phalam. What is aprarabdha? Aprarabdha is that karma which has not manifested and will not manifest in this life. Phalam papam. So kutam and bijam are that karmas which are in between that what is manifested now and what will manifest in the future. Between prarabdha and aprarabdha. That is kutam and bijam. So when Lord Krishna says pavitram, why is he saying pavitram? Because bhakti has the capacity to cut through these karmas layer by layer. In as much as when we are making a garland for the Lord and we take a needle and we pierce it in one rose, then we take another rose and we pierce it, then we take a lotus, we pierce it, and so one by one the roses and the flowers are being pierced. So similarly, all these karmas, layer by layer, they are being eradicated. So if we follow the process of bhakti, life after life, or maybe of year after year, let's not say life after life, but year after year, what is happening is gradually but surely the karmas are being cut. And therefore, Krishna says, Pratyakshava gamam dharmyam susukham kartum avyayam pavitram idam uttamam. This is a very purifying process, and it is pratyaksha, it can be realized in this lifetime, and it is very happily performed. Susukham kartum. And we can see example of Prahlad. He is, why is it called as susukham? Because it is very easy. Even a child can perform. So, I mean, yeah, Germany, if you see, they have this history of being very cruel. Hitler, 6 million Jews, 60 lakh people were killed in the concentration camps. It's horrible. I mean, really something weird, really, really very weird. Something to learn about. Yeah, it's still kept, Auschwitz is one of the concentration camps, open exhibition for the people to come and see what happened there. People go to holy places to see. People also go to these places to see how the people were killed there.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank
Hare
you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Radha Jyoti Mataji, would you like to go ahead and ask your question, Mataji? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Pronounce to you. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Pronounce to you, Prabhuji. Actually, I joined in the middle and I had a very silly question, so I was thinking to ask or not. I have very deep attachment with Srila Prabhupada because I was really unaware of Lord Krishna in my life. I was just thinking there is one ultimate power or ultimate energy. But nowadays, I see that there is a strong attraction, and then again that attraction drops down. Say if I read something about Gauranga Mahaprabhu and then past time I hear there is a strong attraction and then it again falls out. But the attraction for Srila Prabhupada never falls out. So I was thinking why this is happening to me. So could you please give me what is happening, why this is so? Is because then I feel that, oh, am I, not dedicated to Srila Prabhupada or something like that. This is happening. So I just wanted some teachings or clarification.
It's difficult to say because see, I'm not an astrologer or what's going on in one's mind is a very personal matter known to probably the Lord, not probably, for surely the Lord and probably your guru or your who knows you very well. But whatever it is, because the mind is so complex, so complex. So any which ways, if you are attached to anyone, that's okay. If you're attached to Prabhupada, as long as you're not offensive to anyone else, like then we'll end up like Jarasandh. Jarasandh was also a devotee of Vishnu. You know that? Jarasandh, who was killed by Bhima. Yes, Lord Krishna, Arjun and Bhim went and killed Jarasandh. Yes, you know that story. So Jarasandh was worshipping Vishnu. but he disrespected Krishna. So the acharyas explain that when you accept someone, say maybe one incarnation of the Lord, but you disrespect another incarnation of the Lord, then you incur karma, you incur sin, and then the consequences are not good. So you should, if you do not accept Gauranga Mahaprabhu as God, that's okay. Just accept him as a sannyasi, that's also all right, that will do. But we should not disrespect anyone. So if you are attached to Prabhupada, that's okay, but do not disrespect other gods or other devotees, then it's all right. Somebody was saying that, some Prabhupada disciple cracked a joke that the ISKCON devotees went to Goloka and they were playing there with the Lord, and they come across a wall, and they asked the Lord that, why is there a wall here and who's living on the other side of the wall? So the Lord said that these are those devotees these are my devotees who are coming to me, to Goloka, but who are not connected to ISKCON. I don't know if you understood it. So sometimes we may think that only ISKCON devotees will come to Goloka. We may think, being in an institution, we may become institutionalized. You can take help from an institution, but you should not be institutionalized. We should learn to see a person and judge him based on how the Lord has defined a devotee. And even if a person may not be connected to ISKCON, he may be a nice devotee. He may not be connected to ISKCON. He may be in Gaudiya Math. He could be other Sampradaya. Just because he's not a follower of Srila Prabhupada doesn't mean that he is. So therefore, we have to develop this vision, the universal vision of learning to see things and people according to the definition given by the Lord. Otherwise, we may commit aparadh. We may become sectarian, sankirnavadi. We have to rise above these. Bhakti is independent and can awaken in anyone and everyone. We do not know. So therefore, let's not judge others. If you are attached to Prabhupada, that's okay, fine, no problem. Follow Prabhupada to the letter, and fine, you are good enough. But we should know that those who are not following Srila Prabhupada, in the sense that following other acharyas, and all right, they will also come back to Goloka, to Vaikuntha, to say that my guru is the only guru, and that kind of thing can make it very complicated. I don't want to get into that. So don't rely so much on what you think and what your mind is saying, because, somebody came to Prabhupada and said that, Prabhupada, when I chant the holy names, tears come out from my eyes. What should I do? So Prabhupada said, continue chanting and the tears will stop. So therefore, the mind can play tricks with us. Our conception of who is Prabhupada is very limited, maybe. We don't know. So leave it at that and give it some time for it to mature, for ourselves to mature. We can ask these questions when we are like, say, maybe 10, 15 years, 20 years, 25, 30 years in Bhakti. Then we can actually, when our mind is a little purified, then we can actually understand, what our attachments mean. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you so much. Even to get a tinge of Srila Prabhupada is difficult. I'm eternally grateful to you. I just had that, I told you that it's a silly question. I dropped down my hand also, but I got an opportunity to ask.
Oh, good.
And I heard
No
so much
question is
from
silly
you.
as long as it is sincere. As long as it's sincere, no question is silly, I feel. So that's okay. Thank you.
I'm
You
so
asked it
grateful
with a
to you,
sincere
Prabhu.
intent. Hare Krishna. Thank you for the question. I'm really happy.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Pitambar Das Prabhuji, would you like to go ahead and ask your question? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dhanat Pranam Arushka
Hari
Prabhupada.
Bol,
Please
Hare
accept
Krishna.
my humble obeisances. All blessed Prabhupada. So Prabhu, quick question about Upadesamrita, Rupa Goswami's Upadesamrita. Of course, it's not connected with this class. Nectar of Instruction, verse number 1 says, Vacho Vegam, Manasa Krota Vegam, Jiva Vegam. So I was contemplating on the Jiva Vegam, Prabhu. I mean, I'm declaring my limitation that when we get some prasadam, which is of our liking, then we tend to pig out. I mean, we tend to have more because it's relishing taste. Of course, prasadam. But then I was thinking of this Jiva Vegam, one who can control the urges of the tongue on top of the manasa vacha, of the tongue. And then I'm questioning myself that am I going in the wrong direction when I like some dish, palatable dish, which is offered to Krishna and taken as prasadam? Am I on the wrong side of the track? If you can please enlighten me, Prabhu. Hare
It's not
Krishna.
wrong, but it's not the highest. Let us say that way. It's not the highest consciousness. That's okay. It's not offensive. So it's all right. Because the jiva, that prayer which we chant, tar madhi jivati dobhamohasturmati. So the Lord has given us the prasad in order to control and regulate our senses. If it would not have been prasad, then we would have been eating something other, unmentionable things. So it's all right. Yeah, I mean, just today, you won't believe it. Pitru Paksha is going on. And our Girgaon Chopati congregation invited all the brahmacharis to take prasad in Govindas. So then, in our Govindas, we have pizzas and sizzlers and things like that. So the rule is that it's not how we as brahmacharis, we follow this principle, is that we eat what the Lord provides. Someday it may be opulent, we eat it. Someday it is simple, we eat it. Whatever the Lord gives, we eat. It's not about whether it is opulent or not. To be dependent on the Lord. If the Lord wants to feed us pizza, we'll eat it. And the Lord wants to feed us dal sambar, we'll eat that also. Or khichdi, we'll eat it. The idea is not to complain. Whatever comes on your plate, you eat it. We cannot choose. Like children are given that choice. Kya khaoge aaj? What will you have today? And eventually then they get spoiled. They say, no, aaj mujhe ye chahiye, noodles chahiye. Aaj mujhe bahar jana hai. So then you become spoiled. But the children should also be trained to eat what is supplied. Whatever is there on the plate, you should eat. So that way. So a devotee of the Lord will eat what the Lord provides. If you reject saying that it is opulence, it is opulent, then that is also Maya. It may be Maya, not always. Like Mahaprabhu was offered Jagannath Prasad. So Mahaprabhu said, just give me that little rice and that I will eat. For a sannyasi, eating all these opulent foods is not glorious. So you please. So then all the devotees would say, no, Mahaprabhu, you should eat. We have brought it with great love and Lord Jagannath has tasted it, so you should also eat. So then Mahaprabhu used to eat. And all the Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has described all the vegetables and sabjis and everything so elaborately in Chaitanya Charitamrita. They were themselves great cooks, actually. So food is a part of our sampradaya. We cannot deny that. So definitely, it's not a bad thing. Prabhupada used to be forbidden to eat sweets. And Prabhupada used to say, no, you do not tell me what I should eat. I will eat what I want. And Prabhupada used to eat sweets and whatever he felt he liked, he ate. So Prabhupada did not like when his disciples told him, you have diabetes, you should avoid. This is too heavy for you. Prabhupada said, you keep quiet, I'll eat what I want. It's all right. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Prabhu. So I should cast away my feeling of that being culprit, that what Jiva Vegam, what am I doing? And I should cast aside that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, what is that saying which Prabhupada said? Big belly, big, big monkey, big belly, Ceylon jumping melancholy. You know that? Prabhupada said, no? So he said, big, big monkey, big belly, Ceylon jumping melancholy. So Prabhupada said, eat well, eat a lot, and but we should not be like that monkey who ate a lot, but then when it comes to jumping to Ceylon, to Lanka, then he's very upset. Oh, so he said, eat a lot and do a lot of seva also.
Thank you so much. That's wonderful.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Hare Krishna.
Hare-
Hare Krishna, Shukadeva Prabhu, would you like to go ahead and ask a question? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Susmita Dandana Pranam. Thanks for giving an opportunity. Hare Krishna, Akincana Krishna Prabhu, Dandana Pranam. After a long
Hare
time, I am coming back. This is
Hare
Sukakal Krishna from Chennai. Dandana Pranam. Prabhu, this Prahlad Maharaj, no, his power, that he didn't get any pain while Hiranyakashipu tried to, trouble him by throwing him from the top of the mountain and snakes put on him. Everywhere, he was just so much victorious, even including the fire. He was put his Buaji was there, that Holika Mataji. So when somebody asked Prabhupada that how he got saved, Prabhupada said that he was always smaranam. He was remembering. He was chanting, he was hearing and remembering always. So when you remember Krishna 24/7, Krishna's hand is on you and Krishna's hand is touching you, you're also liberalized. You're also like a purified person. So then nothing will impact. Even somebody is cutting, you cannot cut if you are touching Krishna. Because, so I could understand by the holy name is Nama and Nami are same. So if we have the name 24/7, then nothing will do any harm to us, will protect us, and we'll have the hand of Krishna. So with that in mind, always there is a plan that 24/7 we are telling Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, as a part of breathing. But what's happening is, like Jyotimati has the same thing, it's not happening. So then there was an answer Prabhupada that given that if any Vaishnava aparat comes, the taste for chanting goes down. And then you cannot do, even if you want, you cannot do it. So what I thought is to put Prabhupada chanting 24/7 in the room. So I am able to chant or not, I am listening. And when I am listening, I am remembering that I have to chant. So like that, some days the taste for chanting is good, some days it is not there. And so I don't know whether you have some special point with your experience as a, you are a brahmachari 24/7 in the service of Krishna, then how we can be in touch with Krishna 24/7. Whatever you do, you're not forgetting him. How to keep Krishna conscious by 24/7.
So the Lord has told Arjun the sutra that Ma Manusmara Yudhyacha, that you think of me and then you fight. So either you are thinking of Krishna directly, or if you're doing any karma, you connect that with Krishna. That is the way, that is a technique we have to practice. Mahaprabhu used to give another example that a woman, married woman, who happens to love a man besides her husband, who's having a paramour, will do her work, her housework so diligently that her husband does not suspect. But in the heart of hearts, she's always remembering her paramour.
Yes.
So similarly, people in this world can do that. It is possible. It is possible. Just as this example. And also, Prabhupada used to give the example of a lady in the village when she's carrying those pots of water on her head, one on her hip and one on her head. She's gleefully chatting with her colleagues, and she's walking, but the pot doesn't fall from her head. How is that? That means even though she's chatting with her colleagues,
she's conscious.
she's somehow conscious. And if that is possible, then it is also possible to think of the Lord while we are engaged in our other activities. So you can remember these three examples. The pot example.
So that is because they're able to remember the
example.
pot, Paramore example, because they are really loving. But here in this case, what's happening is, by theoretically we know we have to remember always, but not remembering because the real love is.
There are two ways. One is the sadhana process and one is the raganuga process. So you have to follow the sadhana process as long as you do not have the raga, the attachment. Because the mind generally follows the attachments. If you're attached to something, your mind will follow that. So that's how it is. You know, like the story of this man watching television. You know, I told you that story, right?
Can you tell again?
A theft took place in his house. So he went to the police. Police said, FIR likhwana padega. First information report. Make a list of all that was stolen from your house. So he made a list. Jewelry, diamond ring, cash, mobile phone, furniture, dining table. And the police was astonished. He says, everything seems to have been stolen. What is left in your house? So he said, television is only left. So the policeman was surprised. He says, how come everything is gone? Only the television is left.
He was watching.
When the theft was taking place, I was watching television. So basically, he was so absorbed in watching television that he did not realize there was a thief taking away everything. So basically, the point was that our mind follows our attachment.
Yeah.
There's no problem in concentrating when you like something. You are absorbed in watching your cricket match, and you know it's like samadhi at that time. So now we are distracted when we chant the holy names because we don't have taste for the holy names. So the process of sadhana is you force your mind to chant 16 rounds and somehow being in the association of devotees. But if you already love Krishna, then that will naturally happen. So you have to take up to this process of sadhana by keeping yourself in the association of devotees. Like you come to the temple, you see others chanting, and then you feel like chanting. And you know, you'll be forced to somehow, by the power of association, you will take up to those things which will help you remember Krishna. We need help. We can't do it alone. We have to be convinced of it. We cannot on our own do it. We need association. Otherwise, we cannot do it on our own. That's why there's Guru. Why do we need Guru? Why do we need the association of devotees? Then probably we can say that for the online class. Why do we need the online class? Now, if you all would not have been listening, I would not have been speaking. So this is an exercise whereby I am also engaging. Now, somehow Mataji contacted me saying that give a class. So I saw Sunday ka din hai. Chalo, Sunday I am free. Chalo, I'll give a class. So I mean, I chalo, theek hai, just take a break. I don't want to now prepare and things like that. So if I have to talk, I have to at least read something. Something I have to read. So you see, you have to look for opportunities to engage yourself. You can't keep yourself free. An empty mind is a devil's workshop. And especially after retirement, definitely you have to keep yourself busy.
Right.
So that is the way. Yena kena prakarena mana Krishna niveshaya. That is how it is. Somehow or another.
Thank you so much, Akincana Krishna. So wonderful.
Out of your humility, you are asking. Thank you for engaging service.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Dandavad pranam, Prabhu.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hemangi Gopeswari Mataji, would you like to go ahead?
Thank you, Mataji, for giving me the opportunity. Thank you, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, and pranams to you. My question is how to differentiate between liking and attachment?
They're same thing. It is not about the nomenclatures, you know, and So we can define it anyways. They could be interpreted in different ways. Everyone uses a particular word in different context. So if there's anything particular or specific you want to ask, then I can say something direct about Krishna, because that's grammar and that's language, semantics, liking and attachment, and they can be loosely used for things. So is there anything specific that you want me to address? That would be better.
Prabhuji, I'm more so in connection to things we have around us. Some of them we like, some of them we are attached to. I mean, I'm talking about material things, and we're trying to kind of loosen ourselves from these things. So, are these two different feelings, or it's like you said, one and the same thing, and we need to work on it as an attachment itself?
See, the nature of that feeling is the same. The direction is different. That attachment which we have for this world, that same attachment has to be directed towards the sadhus, towards the devotees and the Lord and his devotional activities. So eva sadhushu krito moksha dwaram apavritam. Ajasram, what is that verse? Parsham atmano kavayu viduhu. That our attachments to this world is causing our bondage. But that same attachment towards devotees and towards the Lord will become the cause or open the doors to liberation. So that is the way. So that attachment, fine, there's nothing wrong with being attached. But let us be attached to the right things. Therefore, now, you may think that, oh, why is Krishna says raga dvesha vimuktaistu vishayan indriyascharan? Why is the Lord saying give up attachment, give up attachment? He's only saying it because right now we are attached to the wrong things. When we go into the mall, oh, our eyes are wide open. Oh, and when we sometimes sit in a class and our eyes are closing. Why is it so? When we go into the theater, we take the front seat. When we go in a bus, we take the middle seat. And when we sit in a satsang, we take the back seat. The door is closed. In case the speaker is not very interesting, we can get out of the satsang hall. Why? That's because we don't have taste. And therefore, the Lord is saying that raga dvesha, give up your attachments. But actually, attachment is not a bad thing. Attachment is a good thing if it is for the right things. We cannot give up attachment. Attachment is the nature of the mind, nature of the soul. But just the direction has to be changed from here to here. If it is for sansar, we will be bound up. If it is for Krishna, we will be liberated. So eva sadhushu krito moksha dwaram apavritam. That same attachment, if it is for Krishna, for service, that will liberate us. There's nothing wrong with being attached. There's nothing wrong with being obstinate. All these things are natural. Just that you have to do it for Krishna. If you are obstinate, be obstinate for Krishna. No, I will not give up bhakti. Sorry. Like Prahlad Maharaj, he was very stubborn. He was very, 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 very obstinate. His father was saying, give it up. No, I'm sorry, I cannot do it. So, who can say being obstinate, you are so obstinate? Nothing wrong with that. Prahlad Maharaj was so obstinate. He defied his own father. So, we are not impersonalists to give up attachment. We are on the path of bhakti, where all our sensory activities are used for Krishna. So whenever Krishna is saying raga, dvesh, give up attachment, give up your liking, and it is, we have to understand it is only because right now we are attached. In this world we live, and therefore give that up. But when we make advancement, then Krishna will say, become attached. Become attached, he's saying. Become attached where? Now to this devotional things. If you're not attached, how can you make advancement? If you're not attached to Krishna and his seva, then how come? Why will he appear to you? Why will he appear? You have to love him. You have to serve him. You have to like him, obviously.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. My pranams to you. Hare Krishna.
Thank
Hare
you, Mataji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Akshay Prabhu, would you like to go ahead and ask your question? Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dandvat Pranams. Prabhu, my question is like there is a quote that we should eat as per your liking and you should dress as per others' liking. So, but of course, Krishna is Bhavgrahi Janardhan. But what foodstuffs pleases Krishna? Like,
The Lord has said, Yukta ahara viharasya yukta cheshtasya karmasu yukta swapnavabodhasya yogo bhavati dukkha. Bhagavad Gita, that when you eat in moderation. Whatever you eat, no problem. Eat in moderation. Yukta ahara vihar. Take rest in moderation. Work in moderation. Yukta cheshtasya karmasu. Yukta swapnavabodhasya. Entertainment and all these things should be in moderation. So if you choose the middle path that is pleasing to Krishna, it is conducive for our spiritual development. Irrespective of what you eat. You can eat anything. Garuda can eat meat and still serve the Lord. He's a non-vegetarian. That doesn't mean that we are saying you should be a non-vegetarian and you can, we are just saying that according to your capacity, you eat and be a vegetarian. Krishna speaks about a sattvic diet. Ayu sattva balarogya sukha priti vivardhanaha rasya snigdha sthira ridya ahara sattvika priha. So he has already said eat sattvic food. Yes. So one may argue, why is Garuda eating meat? Why is he eating snakes? Those things are there. But then he's a bird. That's his nature. So the Lord is saying, eat sattvic food. Don't eat or avoid rajasic foods. Katva, amla, lavanati, ushna, tikshna, rukshna, vidahinaha. He says too much salt, too much spices, all those things will cause health problems, health issues. So Gita is very nicely explaining that what kind of foods are conducive for our life. And if you specifically ask what does Krishna like, well, Krishna likes, Gauranga Mahaprabhu likes shak. He likes shak, leafy vegetables. And in Mayapur, you know that they make it so beautifully, so delicious. So definitely when you go to Mayapur, you should eat shak, and you should remember Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Oh, he loved the sabji. And on Radhashtami, you can eat Arbi sabji because Radharani loves Arbi. So cook Arbi sabji and offer it to Radharani. And when you eat, you should remember that, oh, Radharani loves this sabji. And on Janmashtami, you can make what Krishna likes. What does he like? He likes makhan. So make makhan for the Lord and then you eat makhan. And remember him that, oh, the Lord has enjoyed it. But the Lord loves all foods. All the foods he loves, but no problem. We can eat everything.
thank you, Prabhu. And Prabhu, is it okay to eat multiple times a day, little? Like we see those who go to the
Depends
gym.
on your health, whatever your health demands, whatever is your prakriti, you should eat accordingly. If it's needed that you eat 4 times a day because of some health issues, so do it. If you have specific condition, you do according, follow your pattis. And if you can manage with just eating once in a day, that's also good. Whole idea is to be in moderation, and moderation means everyone will eat according to their own capacity. One cannot look at your neighbor's plate and say, "Itna kha raha hai? Why is he eating so much?" No, we cannot do that. Because some people are eating so much and still they are so thin. And some people are eating nothing and they're putting on weight. You see? So it doesn't matter what you eat because everybody's body is different. So don't look how much others are eating. You eat according to your own capacity. and whatever is giving you enough energy to serve Krishna. Why not? Totally okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Radha Jyoti Mataji, would you like to ask a question, Mataji? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. Prabhuji, I have one question to you. Prabhuji, when we serve, we get bits of realization what we read. But then there is a time that we don't get realizations. I don't know how or why it is not coming. But then I just wanted to ask, what happens to the realizations, or how we should serve in such a way that we get realizations of what we read, or uh, about our understanding in bhakti. So could you please help to understand
So,
this,
therefore,
Prabhuji?
Krishna has stressed engaging in seva. And that was the whole point of the Bhagavad Gita, to engage in Nishkam Karma Yoga, where the Gyan will turn into Vigyan. Because karma possesses Gyan within it, in as much as a lotus stem contains threads. When you cook lotus stem sabji, how many of y'all have eaten lotus stem sabji? Yes? Y'all make lotus stem sabji? I know
No, Prabhuji, but
Kashmiris make it
no.
very nicely. They make, huh? It's like this,
Yes,
like a
Prabhu.
stem. Chop it like this and you eat. And so when you bite into it, you'll get those like threads inside. Yeah, very delicious. So anyway, just as there are threads in the stem of a lotus, within karma there is gyan. So when you engage in karma with the bhav of being detached, that is nishkama, and yoga, that means when you do it for Krishna, realization will come. If you simply read a book, you will not get realization. Simply hearing the lecture, it will not give you realization. Nayam atma pravachanena labhyo na medhaya na bahuna shrutena yame vaisha virinute tena labhyas tasaisha atma vivrinute tanum syam. That simply by sitting in lecture, Nayam atma pravachanena labhyo na medhaya, not through intelligence, na bahuna shrutena, not by hearing a lot. But when the Lord is pleased with your seva, then he will bless you with that Vigyan, with the realization. So therefore, seva will give you knowledge. Just in as much as eating, when you eat, but you do not work, it will cause indigestion. When you eat, it will give you energy. And then when you work, what you have eaten will be digested. So eating can be compared to hearing or reading the Shastras. And working can be compared to doing Nishkam Karma Seva. So when you hear a lecture, then you go and serve, then you will get realization of what you have heard. If you simply hear and you don't contribute, then there will not be realization. If you simply work and you don't eat, then you will become weak. So also if you just simply are doing seva, and you do not sit in the lecture, as it happens in many of these programs, the managers of the programs, of the satsangas, they themselves don't hear many times. They're simply so much engaged in doing management only that they themselves don't hear the lectures. They're making arrangements for others to hear the lectures. And then it has been observed that many times these managers of the satsang only, they quit the satsang. They have an argument with someone, and misunderstandings, and they leave. Why? Because they've not been hearing. They've only been doing seva. So when you don't hear, then seva slowly becomes karma, whereby you start expecting recognition or some benefits, some respect or something. Some ego crops in and becomes karma. It does not remain seva. So therefore, in order to ensure that what you are doing is seva, you should hear. And to make sure that what you hear is also realized, you should serve.
Prabhuji, I have questions. See, I met one devotee while distributing book, and I found many things. One particular thing that I was shocked is he said that he can chant it's 60 rounds, 70 rounds, but he is. Then I asked, what about you? Are you hearing or reading Srimad Bhagavatam? Straight, because I thought he must be very very elevated, but he said no, I don't even have Srimad Bhagavatam. I don't hear. Then I was shocked. Then I asked about the services. He is doing a very, means he's very enthusiastic about the services and all. Then I was wondering, how can he chant Prabhu? Is it possible that a person cannot, means is not regular in reading, or I don't know about hearing, but he's doing services and he's able to chant? I don't think it is possible. So could you please teach on this also, Prabhu?
It is possible, why not? Some people can chant, some people can read a lot, some people can serve a lot. Different shloks for different folks. Everyone is different, born different. Their state of mind is different, their karmas are different, their interests are different. In as much as, there are potholes in the Indian roads filled with water when it rains. Every pothole has got its own water. Similarly, every head has got its own brain. So, and every brain is different. So, why not?
But their realizations will be very low with that particular devotee.
No,
Is my
not necessarily.
understanding correct?
Not necessarily. We do not know. We can speak for ourselves. We cannot speak for others. I knew of a small girl. She used to chant 64 rounds. Ekadashi, 64 rounds. She just came. She just came about a week and she started chanting 64 rounds on Ekadashi. Father is coming and telling me, अरे मेरे बेटी को समझाओ, वो 64 माला कर रही है. What is this? This is abnormal. I said people come with their children to me to say that, make them stop movies and drinking coffee and eating rubbish, going for parties. And you are coming and telling me that your daughter is chanting 64 rounds and that I should tell her to stop. Sorry, I'm not doing it. I mean, it's a good thing. Thank God that, your daughter is chanting 64 rounds. And best part is she cracked her 12th exams also. She got very good results. So, everyone is so different. We never know what someone has done in their past life. Don't see just this life. We see this life, but the Lord is seeing in the past. 10 lives back, they might have done so much of bhakti. They have come to complete 2% of their remaining devotional service. We might have completed 2% and we are now struggling with 98% of our bhakti. So we never know. That's why we see that some people come and then they are running in bhakti and we are just trying to struggle and crawl. So it's possible. Everyone is different. Anything is possible.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for clarification. Thank you so much for teachings. Hare Krishna, and grateful to you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Hare Bol.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for the wonderful question and an answer session also. Prabhuji, I cannot see any more hand raised or any questions in the chat also. So is it okay, Prabhu? With your permission, can we end the call here?
Sure, Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for the enlightening class today, and we will look forward for your association again in the future. Dear devotees, let's pay our obeisances to Prabhuji. Vancha
kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyaiva cha pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo Antakoti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada
Jai Srimad Bhagavatam ki
Tantra
jai.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Jai Gaur
Akincana Krishna
Premanande.
Prabhuji ki
Thank you,
jai.
Prabhu.
Jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, all of you. Thank you,
God
all
bless
of
you
you.
all.
See you
See
all
you
of you.
tomorrow.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Sham Gauri Mata ji is here too.
Radhe Radhe.
Closing the call,
Radhe
dear
Radhe.
devotees. Hare Krishna.